Tyrese Maxey folded big time. And I'm not here. This video isn't to bash Tyrese Maxey, but in fact, this game against the Timberwolves really showed us all the problems that the Sixers have. So they got Embiid coming back with COVID or whatever. They had Tobias Harris come back with a hip injury, right? So they had their full roster minus Ben Simmons, Turkey. Sorry. I can't myself. If I say Ben Simmons, I gotta say Turkey at the same sense. I cannot help myself. Anyway, it's just like we got both of our stars coming back. A Minnesota team that had Cat in foul trouble. And Anthony Edwards didn't have the best game, and we somehow lost. But what this game exposed was, number one, we don't have a true point guard. And obviously, Ben Simmons was the true point guard for the Sixers when he was there, right? We can talk about, he can't shoot, all this stuff, but he is a great passer. And not having him on the team is a big missing piece in terms of not having a true point guard. A guy like Tyrese Maxey, I see him as like a Lou Will. I see him as a scoring point guard first. He's not going to look to pass first unless he has to, but he's looking to score first, get some floaters, get some mid-range jump shots. But in terms of facilitating the offense and all that, that's not his game. So if you don't have Ben Simmons in and Tyrese Maxey, who was 20 or 21 years old, in the role as a starting point guard for the Sixers, you're gonna have some problems like you did just like 20 minutes ago with, and we're gonna talk about this at the end of the games. I don't know what that was. At the end of the games, they cannot close games. The Sixers cannot close games. I mean, what they do is so predictable, and it's like it's been like this back with Brett Brown. All they do, they have a pick and roll with Embiid, and after the pick, they drop it off to Embiid at the key. That's what they do every single time. If it's not that, they swing it around and try to get Embiid post up. Every time Embiid has the ball, they double it. Every single time. I mean, if the refs were so bad and they didn't miss that call with Embiid giving himself, he really threw the ball up and caught it again, and they didn't even call it. They didn't even call it. I mean, on the other side of the court, on the defensive end, Embiid clearly hit the ball, and they gave us the ball. So the refs were on our side. We had like so many more free throws than the Timberwolves. But the problem, one, is the point guard, and we cannot close in late game situations. And it's so predictable because if Embiid gets doubled, another thing with him, he isn't good in passing up from double teams. Jokic is great at it. Jokic is phenomenal at it. Other centers in this league, think of guys like Bam. Bam is pretty good at passing that double. He's not going to get doubled as much as Embiid, but Embiid has got to learn to, as soon as you see a double team, pass out. He holds the ball too long, and that makes it so predictable because they know where we're going, and they know that 9 times out of 10, Embiid is not going to pass up the rock. So what the Sixers have got to do, if you get look, I don't see, if Ben Simmons comes back, he might pull some BS to where like he's not really playing for like he's not really going 100%. So I can't bank on him because I saw reports that he's broke and that he might come back to the Sixers. Even if he comes back, I don't see him playing 100%. I see him maybe like just not being 100% in it, right? I just don't see him being 100% in the team, buying into what the team is trying to do, which is win. And he's just going to BS around. So I don't see him being much of a factor. But if they trade Ben Simmons, if and when they trade Ben Simmons, they need a true point guard. A true point guard. Because that's the problem, is because in late game situations, we don't really have a guy that can facilitate. Likewise, like the Clippers, right? The Clippers last year with Kawhi and all of them, they didn't have somebody that can really facilitate, especially late in games. So what they did at the end of games was so predictable because they knew that they were going to try and ISO with Paul George, or try and ISO with Kawhi Leonard. And every time the Sixers are in close games, they try to ISO with Joel Embiid every single time. So the point guard situation has got to be fixed. And number two, closing in late games. Can we please draw up some plays for somebody else besides Embiid? Embiid had a phenomenal game, and if it was not for Tyrese Maxey's turnover, they very well probably would have won that game. But a guy like Tobias Harris, who screamed that he is an all-star last year, has got to step up. Got to step up. You have got to close some games, bro. You have got to close some games. Tyrese Maxey, you ain't even got to pass all the time. How about you take the ball and get hands and make a basket? But they are relying too much on Embiid in late game situations, and that's going to be the downfall for the Sixers. Now this game, not that big of a deal, right? The Sixers are going to be good moving forward, but this showed the major flaws in this Sixers team and got me thinking, maybe Brett Brown was not the problem, because I'm seeing the same issues in late game situations that I saw with Brett Brown with Doc Rivers. So at a certain point, we're going to have to start looking at Doc Rivers and be like, what are you doing with this team? What are you doing with this team? Now, they don't have Ben Simmons back, but they should be a Timberwolves team. Let's be completely honest with you. But let me know what y'all think. How you feel about this game? How you feel about Tyrese Maxey's turnover and B coming back? Man, B was looking phenomenal, making fadeaways, all this stuff. I'm mad that they lost because that was a virtuoso. That was a great performance from Embiid. But let me know what y'all think. This is Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you always know I always keep it real. And I'm out, y'all.